Hey everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. So today we're looking at the new Thunder Yamato Augment. I'm pretty sure this is actually referencing the Yamato battleship from World War II, so kind of interesting reference there. Now the statistics for this are pretty solid overall. You have an additional 60% damage, 50% critical damage, 100% faster projectile, and you have a larger radius of your explosion damage, so you do more damage with your explosions if the person's a little bit further. Big disadvantages here, it takes 80% longer to reload, so almost double the reloading rate. And then your turret turning speed and acceleration is pretty slow, but it's not too noticeable if you're using a hovering hole especially. Now unfortunately, the only way to actually get this currently is in the Sakura Blossom event. And one thing I never get why they do this is you don't get your rewards until the very end of the event. It'd be nice if you got your rewards the day you reached it, but for some reason you don't. Now this augment is all the way down here at tier, oh my gosh, tier 43. So if you buy into this event, it's 700 rubies. You can get to tier 20 with all the free missions. And then after that, in order to get to tier 47, in order to get to tier 43, you have to get an additional 23 event currency. So at the very least, it's going to cost you about 2.8 million crystals. A little bit less if you use some rubies, but that's kind of crazy. At the end of the day, these events are mainly for endgame players. But let's go ahead and see if this augment is actually worth spending all those crystals on, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested in if it's actually worth the investment. So let's hop into a game. Now, I honestly thought when this augment was first shown, it would be a lot different. But at the end of the day, the augment really just boils down to you get 80% more damage and it takes twice as long to reload. That's essentially what this augment is. I mean, the statistics are good at the end of the day. It's not bad. The only downside is a ton of people use Thunder Protection, especially recently. So you do have to deal with that. All right, one shot there, 1700 damage. The reload, it's not too bad. It's not the end of the world bad. Oh my gosh, I'm getting teamed up on, bro. Yeah, I thought the augment would be a little bit different, but at the end of the day, it is just a damage increase augment. It's not the end of the world. It is still a solid amount of damage increase. Unfortunately, it's Thunder, which is pretty weak currently, not the best turret in the game. I thought it'd be cool if it did something more along the lines of it shoots 3 shots in a row, bam, 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 and then it takes a solid amount of time to reload. That'd be a pretty cool augment idea, right? You shoot bam, 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 3, almost back to back, and then after that, you do have to wait a solid amount for it to reload. But that's kind of, I think, would make it feel more like an actual battleship than this one does, where it's just one big cannon shot. Whereas on the Yamato, it had those 3 big cannons, so it would make sense that it would shoot 3 times in a row, but oh well. That would have been a little bit more unique, but this is still a pretty cool idea. Now the damage drop-off isn't too bad on it. Thunder has a pretty solid damage drop-off the further distance you get, so you don't want to play too much of long-range maps, but overall, you don't have to worry about it that much. Now, usually I use Thunder Excelsior because I have that on my main account. This is unfortunately my press account, so I don't actually get to play on it on my main account. But that has a 30% damage boost, and you shoot the same speed. In general, you're doing more damage per second with this, but I'm not sure if I enjoy that 80% longer reload time. I'm not sure how badly it's actually impacting my kill and death ratio. One shot that guy, so around 3000 damage per hit when they don't have double armor, which means you're doing about 1500 damage per hit when they do. So it's about a 2 to 3 hit on Viking players with double armor. So kind of takes a solid amount of time to kill someone if they have double armor, which is, I'd say, a pretty big downside right now. Man, that reload just takes forever. Okay, 1400 damage. Yeah, but against a Viking who has like 3000 health, especially if they have like Excelsior or something, that just feels a bit slow. Okay, 2-shot him. Now, medium holes have 3000 armor, so most of the time you're not going to be able to 2-shot anyone with this because you're doing under 1500 damage a shot. You'd have to do at least 1500 damage a shot in order to 2-shot them. So it's about a 3-shot per player. Dude, there's the guy just in our base. Hello, team. Are we not killing the enemies, please? 3 shots per kill is just, it's not going to cut it, especially when you can do 3 shots per kill with Excelsior with the 30 damage increase. The problem is it needs to be like 85% damage increase. The problem is since it's doing under 1500 damage a shot, it's still 3 shots against players using medium holes who have full health. So you're kind of hoping for critical damage, and then at the end of the day, at legend rank, most people have critical protection. See, 2 shots there. Okay, guy killed him, but 1400 damage, is it going to take? He just healed basically all the way up. I'm able to, oh, didn't even one-shot him. That's surprising because he has 3000 health. I'm using Crisis now. With an 80% longer reload, Crisis is actually effective, which is kind of funny considering Crisis is pretty useless these days unless you have a turret that shoots really slowly. Like Crisis is solid for Railgun, Crisis is solid for Magnum, but basically every single other turret in the game it's kind of useless for, just on the fact that you kind of need to have double armor at all times these days. All right. boost it, use my armor. I'm gonna overdrive this guy. He's so annoying. Dude, that was out of range. Are you kidding me? With Crisis, you definitely get over the hump in order to two-shot people, which is very solid. But if you're not using something that gives you a damage boost, it's not worth using. If you're just using Hyperion or Defender, stick with Excelsior. If you're using Crisis or Booster, honestly, this augment's very solid. I should be able to one-shot that guy. Yep, 3,200 damage with Crisis. Able to one-shot people, luckily there. Dude, oh my gosh, their entire team is focusing me. I keep joining games, and a solid 3 to 4 people every single game have Thunder protection. This is insane. Because Thunder is one of those turrets where you're just screwed if someone has protection against you. There's turrets like Freeze, where if someone has protection, you're still able to probably kill them. But there's turrets like Thunder or Twins, where if someone has protection, your turret is almost effectively useless against them. Like this guy right here, 50% protection. It's going to take 4 total shots to kill this guy with double damage. Yeah, I'm not getting 4 shots off in time in order to kill him. Okay, 2 people, literally half the people in the enemy team have Thunder protection. So it's kind of unfortunate. Let's hope they're a light hole. If they're a light hole, Thunder protection, fine. If they're a medium or heavy hole and have Thunder protection, my gosh, is that ridiculous to go against. Yo, reload. It's just so long. It's so incredibly long for that reload. I definitely need to play more reserved. I'm just such an aggressive player. But with that 80% reload time increase, you cannot be in their face. If you're in their face with Thunder, not only are they going to probably drive into you for self-damage, but you're not really going to be able to get your shots off before you're dead. Okay, still 1600 damage against someone with double armor. You're able to two-shot light holes with double armor. And then medium holes, you're able to two-shot with double armor. So that's pretty solid, especially if you're using Crisis. Now again, don't use this augment without a damage buff, because then at that point, it literally takes 3 shots to kill a medium hole with protection against you. And with this reload time, that makes the augment essentially useless. Now again, it's still a very strong augment, especially with Crisis, but considering all the other augments in the game, it's actually relatively balanced. I'll be honest, it's relatively balanced. This is the type of augment I really like, because it's good if you use Crisis, but then you have the drawback of having to use Crisis and not having double armor at all times. So I really like this augment in terms of Tanki actually releasing a solid augment that is still balanced. I love that fact about this augment right now. Like now I go into games when people start getting this augment at the end of the event, and I'm not going to be absolutely murked by people one-shotting me and two-shotting me, even with double armor. So pretty exciting that it's actually balanced. I'm so happy about that right now. It's kind of nice being a little bit slow for the reload, so you're not having to constantly spam double armor, double damage, double armor, double damage. That gets pretty annoying, especially if you're using like Crisis with Smokey. Gosh, I did that a few times. That is not a fun gaming experience at all. You're constantly having to juggle having double armor and double damage. But with this thing and the slower reload, it's not too bad to deal with. It's actually relatively fun. Like, I'm going to probably get this on my main account just because I have a lot of crystals to spare, and I kind of want to get just a bunch of augments and such. So I think it'll be fun on my main account to use this because, again, it's a nice augment when you're using Crisis, and actually very enjoyable when you're using Crisis. And I haven't used Crisis in a solid amount of time. Back in the day, it used to be the best drone in the game and was genuinely fun to use. That was the only drone I used for probably a year and a half straight. And then they nerfed Crisis, and then they made the time to kill so much faster with new augments, and then I had to stop using Crisis in general. I could definitely be playing this better. I am playing very aggressive, especially for an augment that takes forever to reload, but still 10 and 6, not too bad. I could probably be 10 and 3, 10 and 2 right now if I played further back like this, but I'm a very aggressive player, so 10 and 6 for being that aggressive is actually pretty solid. But yeah, that's the brand new Yamato augment for Thunder. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. If you're going to spend any money to get into the Sakura Blossom event or purchase currency, don't forget to go to settings, account, choose my creator tag right here. If you don't, you're just giving Tanki more money. See you guys in a future video. Peace out, everybody.